Welcome, everyone. The first official Therapy Thursday. Tyler, Brent, how are you guys?
I'm hanging in there, man. Doing well.
Yeah, cheers, brother.
Well,
any day of life. My grandma, late grandmother, always said, "Every day you're above ground's a good day." So good day.
We're gonna keep it lit up, man. I've been watching a lot of your stuff since I followed you. All the games you play with your kids and stuff, and all this cool stuff. So, obviously, this show's cool. I have to show us this. This is going to be our intro going forward, guys. So everyone, welcome. This is a Therapy Thursday. We plan to do one of these a month. We were going to do like a specific one, but obviously with your schedules, you guys are busy and everything. We'll figure one out. We'll get it together. We'll talk mental stuff, physical stuff, whether it's men's health, it's just general society stuff. But we're going to keep it way lighter and take it from a different side than us always attacking sides, because we're here to be collaborative. So with that, I am going to play our intro, and let's chuckle after this one.
I know a nooner when I hear one.
Sky rockets in flight. Afternoon delight.
The rapist.
That's therapist.
Afternoon delight.
Afternoon delight.
So good, man. I wouldn't realize how
just-
terrible I am at all this stuff when I come on your show, Mark.
Same.
Let's get silly, guys. So we're all here. We all have these weird journeys. I'd like to start with just a general one, because I think all of us have had more of a weight issue that we're all working on. Tyler, you're the healthiest. Brent, you look in good shape. I'm in a shape. But let's start with that one, because I think all of us have at least probably crest the wave of that fight. I think where we have it more managed than it's always fighting us.
No, dude, not me. I'm still fighting it right now. Ty knows, I cry on Tyler's shoulder all the time, man. I got a rough. This has been the roughest 2 years of my life by far. And when I started the Twitter account, that's what it's based off of. People don't really know this. I talk a lot of politics and philosophy and God and all this other stuff, but I really started doing the sort of the weight loss journey. When I started, used to be my pinned tweet for a long time, but I had basically got so disgusted with myself that just pulled my shirt off, took a picture in the mirror and said, "Hey, this is where I'm at." And I lost a whole bunch of weight. It was 85 pounds or something like that. It's been creeping back, man. The habits are hard to, food's one of those ways that I sort of always self-soothe. And when I'm going through the stuff, it really gets difficult to not do that. So I would say it just raised my hand. I have not been doing great, man. It's been a real tough sledding for probably the last 6 months for me.
We'll talk about that. I want to hear about you, Tyler, but we'll get to that, because I think we can talk about reasons why that might be, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, those types of things. So Tyler, do you want to give a little brief thing of yours? I remember you telling me the story when we first talked about the eating chips on the couch, and you just kind of got up and did it. So just let me hear a little bit about that, and then Brent, we'll get to your thing back. We'll definitely circle back.
I think 4 or 5 nights ago, man, I got a thing of ice cream to maybe eat over the next month and ate it that night. So this is, we're all man, nobody's perfect on this stuff. Anybody that claims to be is trying to sell you something. I always say that. So we're all a work in progress, man. And I appreciate, Brent, you being vulnerable and saying that, right? Because that's just the truth. But yeah, I hit my rock bottom. I'd say I was 34 and a half years old. And man, I don't know, man, just a terrible version of myself. I felt always sick and tired. And I woke up every day and just thought, I can't wait till the end of the day, if I'm very honest, so that my wife can go to bed, my kids can go to bed, I can zone out and watch Game of Thrones or hopefully there was a good football game on that night, or kind of just get lost, kind of zone out, eat my chips, drink a few beers. That's where I was at that point in life, man. And one night it just, I don't know, something came over me the way my wife just said, the guy I married doesn't really seem to be around. Where'd he go? Kind of thing. And I just realized I am depressed. I actually went to the doctor a couple months before that and told him I'm depressed. I don't know what to do. He put me on anxiety meds, which just, to be honest, made me feel out of body. I don't know, man. I got in a car wreck a month after that. I just literally backed into a parked car, and then I just felt nothing about it. And I'm like, oh, well, that's going to have to call my insurance. I was just such a zombie, man. And when I look back at that period, that night after my wife went to bed, man, I cried for 2 hours, full vulnerability. The first hour was just sorrow, just how did I end up here? What's happening in my life? Is this going to be the full direction of it? Right. And the next hour was this conviction. Everybody says they're going to change their life. I'm gonna fucking change my life. Excuse my French. If I get fired up when I think back to that time, because I just saw my life go in one of two directions. I gained 19 pounds in our first 2 years of marriage. So I'm like, well, let's just do the math. Look where I'm at in 10 years of marriage, right? I'm going to be on more meds. And it's never going to get better if nothing's going to change if nothing changes. And so that next hour, man, I wrote down rules for myself. I said, I don't care if I go to bed at 3 a.m. I had very bad insomnia at the time. I'm going to get up at 5 a.m. I'm going to hit the gym. I'm going to do the best I can every day. That's what I'm going to do. Some days it's a walk. That's okay. I'm going to do that every day. I changed the way I started eating lunch. I just meal prepped every lunch. Started doing a gratitude journal, just a few easy changes. And that has sort of snowballed for the last 8 years. Within 3 months, I was off anxiety meds. I remember going to the doctor and being like, why didn't you ask me about what I ate? And if I ever got in the sunlight and ever moved, and how I spent the first 15 minutes of my day, and like what
took a daily vitamin.
Yeah, no,
literally just something.
Nothing. It was just take a pill, right? And so, man, changing that stuff. I've been off the anxiety meds now for 7.5 years, and a much healthier version. Now, again, I don't have all this stuff figured out, but I do have a lot of built-in systems that even when I do make a mistake, which is often, I can hop right back on, and I always feel pretty good about that, right?
And what I mean by that, I want to be clear, is when I say manage, is like we realize when we're spiraling. Like Brent, you're clearly realizing you're in this spot. So that it's not just we have it fixed. It's not like it's solved. It's a complete continual management of this, because you get on the scale where you just feel a little off. You're like, what is that? It's like, oh wow, I did put on like 3 actual pounds. 3 pounds is a lot of weight, guys, to carry around all day. You don't even realize it's like the littlest thing. So Brent, let's go back. Obviously, you're spiraling right now, and thank you for being so vulnerable right with that. I've been doing the same thing as you, Tyler, too. Is like I take a spoonful, put it down, but I went back a lot more recently for that second and third, maybe fourth spoonful of the day. You know what I mean? So Brent, what's going on with that? What do you attribute some of this to at this point? I think we'll pinpoint it.
It's a lot of stuff, and I don't know if I've shared this with you. I've had so many podcast episodes now. I don't remember what I've shared with who, but Ty knows for sure. Like I've shared on his show. Like I was sexually abused as a kid, starting at 8 years old. And that is a component of it. I was abused by my stepfather the entire time that I was growing up. A lot of physical, verbal, so there's a lot of things that have been working against me. It's not an excuse at all. Like I'm a grown man. I'm 50 years old. Like I know that baseline exists, and I know how to beat it. And a lot of this just comes down to, like Ty said, just like systems. Like I have to give myself rigid boundaries, which is tough for me because, like, you probably know from talking to me more, because I'm a non-linear person. I'm an ADHD guy. I'm
out of the box. We're so abstract. We think in so many different conceptual ways that others just can't even realize. Yeah.
Correct. But I always struggled ever since I was a kid with rigidity and structure and balance and consistency. I'm the guy that's like a sine curve. I'm all over the place. When it's up, it's awesome. I can be brilliant. I can come up with all sorts of cool stuff. And I like that thing, but like, man, finding that x-axis, that median is very difficult for me. I can start something really well. I don't stick with it really well. So I don't know, man, like, especially when I get triggered, and Ty knows this, like the Epstein stuff caused me to crash completely out. Like that whole thing is so horrific. I can't even it fucks with my brain. Like my brain starts short circuiting. That sort of fight, flight, freeze system kicks in. It just completely shuts me down. And on top of that, there's a bunch of stuff with work that I don't really want to get into. There's family stuff that's been really tragic. It's been, like I said, literally the worst 2-year period of my entire life in general. And so, and it was very weird too. This is interesting, is that it's all seemed to start like about 8 months after I started the health journey. So like and I was solid, man, for 8 straight months, which for me was a huge win. I said I lost like almost 90 pounds or something at one point. I was consistent. I was doing all the things, and then just like life just completely blew up in a mushroom cloud. And I think there's something to that. I think that when you decide that you're going to make some positive changes and you're really going to stick with it, it's like something with the universe likes to push back, and it's like, you sure about that? You sure about that?
There's obstacles it is. It's like, are you certain you want to on this path? Like, because we gotta throw a little mud on your shoes, or like trip you up some way. And I think probably that's the work things that you have no control over, but the things over which you do have control, you look at that. And what's interesting, like we use the Matrix all the time for like weird analogies. I think the most brilliant character in that movie is a Merovingian. Merovingian talks about causality. That doesn't excuse things, man. You had events happen that do things. They do physical and emotional things to you. This is a reality. Now, you're right. At 51, you got to nut up. And unfortunately, that's just the way life, that's when we realize life is dealt that hand, right? But those are the things where we have to look at, and that's the causality where I wish people would stop that, because we see this. Here's the white pill part, right? Left and right, but these guys do that. It's like, no, guys, causality. If they push here, that's going to do this. It's like, you can't go back halfway in time to an event. It's like, that's what started all. It's like, you got to look at the full contextualization. And that's something I think that you and I think Tyler are really good at, that abstract openness of that.
Yeah, I agree. And here's something that I struggle with too, is that the thing that I've found the most success with staying consistent with diet and exercise and all that stuff is going like Goggins mode, to where, and I know it's unhealthy too. It's the worst part about it. It's like, I can be the most consistent when I'm telling myself, you're a piece of crap, shut up, like almost be verbally abusive to myself. I can get in that mode. And I think that is because it just is familiar. That's kind of the pattern I grew up in. And if I treat myself that way, I feel like, yeah, you are a piece of shit. Yeah, you're, doing all this stuff wrong, nut up, get out there. And I can go crazy, man. Like I'm somebody who's done like super long distance racing. And I have the ability to sort of like push through things. I don't know why this is, but this is something maybe I should ask Tyler, is like, what do you think about that? Because like, I feel like in the moment, I'm like, okay, yeah, health wise, I've lost a bunch of weight. I'm more fit and all this stuff. But it's like, as I'm doing it, the patterns that I'm able to sustain, and looking at, if I zoom out, I'm like, this is not healthy, man. This isn't good either. What do you think about that?
After coaching 1,000 guys, do you know what I really think it is with you, Brent?
What's that?
I think you're afraid of success. I think when you push there and you're like, I'm losing 90 pounds and I'm about to hit a bunch of these breakthroughs, you want to self-sabotage, because there's a part of you that's actually pretty afraid to be able to take your shirt off and be super proud. And there's a part of you that actually doesn't want to be sort of successful. And I think working through some of that stuff would be really, really helpful. But I've been there. And I also don't think it's a terrible thing to use anger for a season as a motivator. I did. I got cheated on and divorced when I was 26, 27. And for the first year, the only thing that got me off the couch was like, I'm going to live a better life than her. I'm going to beat her. I'm not going to let this person who ruined my life at that time win. And that's what got me off the couch, man, was hate, to be honest.
It's kind of illegal to go into her life and ruin hers. You can only yours. You can only lift your tide in your ship, right? Like you got to leave it in the dust.
That's right. And then, after a season, it just didn't even matter, now, 15 years later, I never think about, I hope she's doing great, to be honest, I don't, whatever it is, but I think it's okay to have a season where you use that anger, where you use that pain, and you're like, you know what, F this guy who did this to me. I'm going to win. But I don't think you always want to stay there. And then I think you can't be afraid of, what would it look like, man, if you were operating on all cylinders? What does it look like? What if that's just who you were forever? Are you afraid of that in some sense? And I think a lot of guys get really afraid of that because, to be honest, and this is, I don't know, tough to talk about maybe, but I experienced it. So I do. Feedback is a really hard thing, because if Brent goes all out and he does see what he's actually capable of, he does get feedback from people, and there still might be people that say that's not good enough. And that's scary. But if you stay in a safe spot, you can always rationalize in your brain and say, well, if I did this, I would be this. That's why guys like say, I'm going to write a book, I'm going to publish the course, I'm going to start the podcast, I'm going to do this, but they never do. Because when you're sitting and you're watching Netflix, there's no feedback, man. You can just sit there and zone out. When you actually put the stuff out, you get feedback, and that's a scary thing, right? And so there's parts of you I'd want to work with and tear down and ask a lot of questions to. But that's most people. It's a weird phenomenon. I was very afraid of success for a long time. I get to a certain level, and I don't know. I don't know if I want to go. I almost feel like I don't deserve to get to that next level, right? It's a really weird part of human nature, man. And then also, bro, let's take a moment and just, Mark, Brent, we can just say this. The world has just never been more chaotic and crazy. And if you really think about the last 4 or 5 years, 6 years, I still haven't recovered from COVID, man. I still don't trust people. What they did to me. I got the cops called on me 5 or 6 times. And people never apologize. They never want to talk about that. They never want to say sorry. Then we just move on.
There has been zero self-culpability, from anybody you knew going, hey, I'm sorry I shat on you for like 5 years about.
Well, there was an article, like the New York Times. There was an article that was just like, can we just all admit that we acted crappy during COVID and move on? It's like, no.
Yeah, let's have the goldfish memory. Yeah,
let's have some accountability. Then we'll talk.
But it's like
we can look forward, guys. Let's not look back. We can't look back, like, because history won't, rhyme or repeat or do anything, right?
Even recently, man. I was on a date last night with my wife, and we were both kind of getting in a negative spin, just talking about like the world event, and both of us, I could just feel like, we were on a date. We finally get away from our kids, and then we're like an hour in, we're both like angst. I can feel it, and I just looked at her and I said, we don't need to be talking about this stuff. And I know it's hard, but I just said, if you need to talk about it, you're gonna have to go somewhere else. I'm not doing it anymore, because it is like, dude, there's nothing really great to look at, to be honest. Like, I mean, I'm like
two things though. It's really not that chaotic, right? If we go with Steven Pinker, it's really globally, universally not as chaotic as it used to be. Let's be honest, not as barbaric and all that. However, it is where we focus because we actually focus on trying to help people. And most people who need help are like literally screaming. They're the ones screaming the squeakiest wheels, right? The victims and the whatevers that we're actually trying to help in some way, show this. And I'm just grateful for you guys to share some time on this. And it's interesting about that too, because Brent, or what you were saying, Tyler, is like this fear of success. That's what my NLP guy told me, the same thing. And it's like, I had a poker career, not like yours, but I had a bankroll and I had a drawer. And over 5 years, I built up a $10,000 cash bankroll. And I just take cash out of that. Whatever I lost, I'd take out. Whatever I put in, I'd win. Whatever. I went on a cooler. I lost it all in 5 months, man. I lost like 33 straight flush draws after the flop. I missed 33 of them in a row. I started count. Really, I had to look back to like the first 11, but once I started counting, because like that's like a 1 in 3 shot, 1 in 4 shot here, and I'm missing all. You know what I mean? The percentage, the odds are just not there, right? So it's almost like you force yourself to fail in this weird way because you start tightening up or some things. And I realize it in my life as well. It's an interesting thing how you mentioned that.
It's almost a little bit sad when you go play live poker. Now that I'm a coach, the last couple times I've gone to play live, I see people there escaping reality and they almost want to lose. They want to feel something. They're there to feel something. They don't feel anything, and so they want to lose. And it's a really weird thing, man. But that's
Goo Goo Dolls. You bleed just to know you're alive, right?
That's right, man. Put us on. Well, Brent, what do you think, man, gets you out of that, or when you are, in those low spots, what do you try and do to get yourself out of that?
That's a good question. I don't have a thing. Like, I keep trying multiple things. And a lot of it's just, I don't know. It feels like gravity, like almost like physics. Like no matter what I try to weasel out of it, I can't pull out sometimes. And I feel like I almost have to hunker down. That's what it feels like. You're hunkering down in the bomb shelter, waiting for the storm to pass. I think my body gets in that mode, and I don't know how to break out of that necessarily. I think the answer, honestly, is just go. Just get up and go do something. Doesn't matter anything, right? Because that seems to be like when I notice I do that. If you get up, you go to the gym, you start pumping some blood a little bit, like get out of the stasis that you're stuck in. It changes a little bit, I feel like the texture of the experience, it feels more positive. You got some momentum behind you, and it's just like, all right, man, I'm moving, I'm doing something. I think there's something. Jordan Goldstein, one of my friends, is big into spiritual practice through moving your body, and I talk to him quite frequently. And I think there's something to that, man. I don't know how to get out of this sort of bad mental pattern that I'm in, but I think Tyler really is onto something with the fear of failure, like or fear of success. Like my stepdad used to say all the time, like every single day, not even joking, you're worthless, you're a piece of crap, you're never going to amount to anything, you're going to be a failure. And so I know that's part of it. Like that's so insightful, Ty. Like it's down deep in there, but at the same time, like he was obsessed with money. And so for me, like I guess the way that I've always prioritized my inputs has been based on financials. Yeah, I was like, I'm going to go into tech and I'm going to make these millions of dollars, and I'm going to show him. Right. By the way, he's not in my life. He hasn't been in my life since like I graduated high school. Like a completely irrelevant person. But there's this.
He is still in your life, bro.
He
will always be there. He will always be there. That's the thing we have to realize.
Yeah, and I've realized there's no ceiling. Right. Like I think Chris Williamson has this great bit. He's like, you've already achieved goals that you said would make you happy. And it's like, and I have my whole life. It's just like, okay, if I make $1 million, it's done. It's like, okay, no, it's got to be 5 million. It's got like whatever this thing is. The goalposts keep shifting because I don't feel good about myself, and I feel like there's this part of me that's like, I'm going to please this guy. This guy's not even my life. If I could just be some sort of financial success, and it's just like, God, that's so hollow. It's so empty, and I know that that's not the way. But I still run that program a lot of the time. My inputs are focused there, and I will sacrifice my health and my well-being and my psychological stuff to sort of focus on that piece of it. So that's a flaw in the matrix, man. It's a bug in the system.
Yeah, but it's interesting how we parallel so much, Brent, because you can talk about like hobbies, not finding one that clicks. Like, dude, a pilot, scuba diving, let's see, DJ, cover band, you know what I mean? Like CBD, dude, like I've done it all. I have done it all. And like, I don't say fail because I just did it. But in the big picture, I would look back and like look at them as all like failures because they didn't really click. Like this thing, like I said, I talked about this. This is not victimhood or whatever. 250 podcasts, 500 hours of content like this. Actual real quality conversations that aren't just, bitch fest or whatever. And dude, you saw it. Scott Horton got 11 views on YouTube. Scott Horton, who is on shows of millions of watchers. It's unbelievable like how weird it is, but we keep chugging and it's almost like the thing to keep moving. You just have to keep moving through it because you have to, because if you don't, that's where like, it's like the shark, man. The water doesn't have to move over the gills, right?
Yeah, Ty, I don't know if you know who Scott Horton is, but for contrast, like I've got a small account too, but I had Scott on my show and he pulled like 3,000 views.
Yeah.
And Mark got like 11. Like
it's so crazy, man. I don't understand YouTube or any of it. I mean, I understand Twitter better. I don't understand. I've had a video I made 221 YouTube videos and had like a couple thousand subscribers and literally made no money. And then for whatever reason, dude, I had a 25-second short of just my son handing my other son a piece of pizza with like a little song, and bro, it's like 38 million views. I gained 50,000. And it's like the dumbest video. Like
was it 38 million of did Bill Gates like it? Your boy pizza. I'm just sorry. I just had a little. That was a bad levity. It's about as good as I can get, guys.
I don't know, man. I think the principle that I look there is most people quit well before 220. Most people quit well before 500. Same with anything. Yeah. It's like most of it is just to keep going. And I'd even go back to Brent, what you were talking about before that, when you're in the lowest of states. And I'm saying, Mark, you can probably rationalize it. We all get in these lowest states, right? Where, bro, like going to walk to get the mail feels like, oh my gosh, like the heart, you wake up, there might not even be things on your calendar, but everything feels so hard, and I've long since said that I don't talk about this a lot on social media, but I know I have some sort of I get very extreme high, and I always know there's a crash after. And I do the same cycle about.
Yeah, it's manic. It's a manic. You get these manic episodes where all bouncing off the walls, and then the crash has to happen.
100%. And I always know it's coming because I will always say to my wife, like during the manic phase, like, I think I could be president of the United States. I literally always say this every time, like I could run this shit. I could run this, But what I've learned to do in those manic phases, man, is number one, journal a lot through it and on the other side of it, and look for what causes, look for patterns. Like when you can start to pick up patterns, it's really, really powerful. And then two things, man, and I take you guys' views on this, but one, when I feel at the very lowest state, everything's hard. I have no patience. I have no anxiety to the roof. I always do the same thing now. And this comes from looking at patterns and how to start to get out of it. I make a list. And I make this list the most embarrassingly easy to-do list you could ever fathom. The first thing on the list is always make a list. Bro, I got to win. I'm making a list. Okay. The second thing is
you're like batting 1,000, Tyler.
Batting 1,000. But what you're doing is you're starting to build momentum. And if you study your brain, you're creating a neural pathway that's getting you out of looking for negativity and being sunk in that to build momentum. And so second thing, drink a water. Third thing, text someone how much you love them. You won't even feel like it, but just hey, mom, hey, friend, whatever it is. Fourth thing, take a 5-10 minute walk without your phone. Fifth thing, make a new to-do list of a couple more activities you're going to crush today. That is my go-to. I've used that same pattern 50 times to get myself out of those. And so I would urge you to go to something very similar, find what works for you, but have a system in your mind that when you feel yourself getting to the ceiling or the basement of that, I guess, man, I can recognize I'm there. I can take a breath and I can become conscious and I can remember, I can start to build a little momentum. However small it is, it's important to stop that negative slide. Even if you start to millimeter back the other way, that'll build a lot.
You got to put the tourniquet on the wound first. You got to stop the bleeding before you can address the injury, man.
And then the other thing, man, is I call it the 3 S's. You got to change the strategy. You got to change the state. You got to change the story. And you, my friend, need to change the story. So the strategy might be, well, man, I'm sitting here reading news on Twitter. This isn't a good strategy for my mental health. Okay, well, let's change it. My phone is going off. I need to change my state. Easiest way to change your state, change your environment, go for a walk. Move rooms, physically move, stretch, physically do something. And then the most
fresh air.
That's right.
Always fresh air helps. Always helps.
Getting in the sun is so powerful. And then the last one, and this is the most important that most people don't do, is change the story. So I'm real big into reframing. I don't allow.
I was just going to say, Scott, in the light of Scott Adams, right? Reframe your mind and stuff. So yeah, go ahead, please.
That's the most powerful thing. And if you were to ask me now about getting cheated on in my divorce, the best thing that ever happened to me. Caused me to be a man, caused me to grow up, caused me to see all the things I did wrong in that marriage so I didn't repeat them. Best thing that ever happened to me. Is that true? Depends on who you ask. But to me, it's true. And anytime we want, again, we can take a breath, become conscious, and we can program the story we want into our mind. I really believe that. And so the story can be, man, I've languished long enough. The story is everything has led me up to this moment. I'm going to stack a few wins today and I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to start having a great day. I'm blessed that I'm here. I'm blessed that I have breath, and here we go forward. And so I think if you can kind of remember those 2 principles, man, and change those few things, not easy. When you're in that state, it's not easy. Not saying any of this is easy. The more you do it, the more it becomes second nature, though.
Yeah. Well, this is a great way to say this. Look at the people who are lying themselves. Let's not get too dark, but look at the people right now, Brent, our audience, of these people lying themselves about what's going on. If you can lie to yourself to that extent to support the things that are going on, you should be able to lie to yourself to make your life better. You know what I mean? Like, have you seen the people twisting themselves into pretzels to get out of something? How much extra effort you're putting in to avoid like facing a reality that just might improve your life? It happens to so many of us.
It's fun watching the mental gymnastics right now of all the political people too, man. That's what it sort of reminds me of the people that just won't ever admit. I mean, they're the same person. Trump does everything right. He's God. Trump can't do anything right. He's the devil. And it's like, you're both morons, but like, it's exhausting, man. That's again why I just have to like stay away from a lot of that, because you can go into very negative spirals and it's hard to avoid online. It really is, man. I try and mute words and do all that I can, but it's very hard in today's.
So Tyler, you're a list guy. So Brent, I feel like you're a cerebral, introspective guy like me who just tears yourself up inside mentally and doesn't make a list. Or how do you? I'd love to hear how you, because Tyler's is really write it down. If you write it down, it hits all your senses. You're reading it, you're writing it, you're touching all that. You and I think we are like, we love the clay in the sandbox that's up here. Like,
yeah. And that's really, I think the antidote to the issues, now that I think about it more, is like, because it is, I'm super cerebral. I'm always living in my head, not tactile that much, connecting with my body, connecting with my environment, getting out in the sun, getting fresh air. Like that piece is a lot missing. A lot of it has to do with my career field too. Like I'm podcasting, I've been in tech my whole life. You're always in front of a screen. It's like, you're always projecting your mind somewhere else and you're thinking about abstract problems. But I think grounding yourself, getting your body grounded is like, for me, it's always a struggle. Pulling my head out of the clouds and getting back to the earth. That's one of the reasons I love watching Ty's account. It's like, oh, he's out going for a walk in the sun today. He's with his kids. Like he's at the park. He's doing all that. I'm like, I always feel bad about it. I'm like, God, look at me. I'm just,
my account's so boring. It's like, I just do the same. Like, oh, got 21,000 steps with my kids today. Oh, we're outside at the park. We're looking at the moon. It's like so boring.
Yeah, but it's everything that everyone knows they should be doing. That's the thing, man. That's why your account's so popular, because everyone is feeling a little bit judged. There's always that phrase, like every ideal is a judge, And so when you see somebody doing ideal type behaviors and people are doing things that are less than ideal, you're always kind of like, oh, And that can be taken two ways. I mean, it can either be like, I feel like crap about myself, or it could be like, ooh, I should be more like Ty. Like, oh, geez, I really should get outside and take a walk. Like, I try to treat it that way. I look up to Ty a lot, even though he's a younger dude than me. But he's an inspiration, man. I love your account. Keep doing what you're doing, even if you're thinking you're being boring, man. Rob. My buddy Rob.
Yeah, I'm just showing a couple. We got William up here. We got Rob Yates showing. I'm sorry, guys. I just pulled up the comments. I told you, Brent, I always do one thing wrong, but we've got them pulled up now. So everyone, please jump in. William, jump in the chat. So thanks so much for joining us, everybody. But this is the perfect segue. Speaking of, look, Tyler, you got some beautiful color right now. You've been out in Vegas sun. I'm in Arizona. Obviously, we're hitting 85, 90 degrees. You guys have an upcoming thing where you're actually going to be physically touching grass. You're going to be like working with each other. This is a perfect segue for this because of how you guys are going to work with each other in a few months to help each other get better tools to manage these things.
Yeah, that's right, man. And I'm so fired up for this. We got 18 men coming from really all over the world, man. And our buddy Zuby, who I think we both love, comes in and spends all 4 days with us. Yeah, one of the best humans you ever meet. And this guy has every reason to be super egotistical. When you meet him in real life, you'll be like, he'll take an interest. He'll message you out of the blue 3 months after the event and ask about something you talked about on a walk. And you're like, how do you even remember that, bro? You got millions that follow, all the things you're doing. He's just kind of that kind of guy. But when we get sort of, in person, man, it's powerful. We'll do some hard things together. We'll have some really deep conversations. We'll challenge each other. It's really one of my favorite weekends of the year, man. And I'm really excited to get to share it with you, Brent. And I know it's kind of on edge. We're seeing where the job is and things, but we're gonna find a way for you to be here, man. We'll 100% we'll find a way.
Awesome. Yeah. Echo that too. Like when I met Zuby when I was out in Dubai interviewing for the podcast, like just setting up my gear, and he's just talking my ear off. He's like the friendliest dude. I feel like you've known him for like a long time, and I'm kind of like, hey, dude, can we save this for the show? Like he's going through all this great content, just chatting, but he's just a friendly dude, super upbeat, super positive, super great vibes. I didn't spend a ton of time with him, but I was just like, man. And I'm just shocked that he came on my show. That's another testament to who he is. Like I reached out on Twitter. And I basically said to him, it's like, hey, man, if I fly to Dubai, will you do my show? And he was like, yeah, sure, no problem. I was like, dude, you have like 1 million subs. At the time, I like my account had like maybe 150 or something. It's like super small. I was like, that's amazing.
I think the flight to Dubai is a commitment, though. So that kind of works in your favor.
Yeah, maybe.
No, but it's totally true, though. It's true. The greatest people have been just so humble with their time and the sharing of things. It's been amazing.
Well, here's my contrast, Mark. Let me just throw out some contrast. Like I was also in the libertarian space, and you know who this person is. I'm not going to talk about them because they're not in the room, but they're medium-ish account in the libertarian space. And I reached out and said, hey, I'd love to have you on the show. And there's like, well, hey, you come talk to me when you have 1,000 subscribers on YouTube and you have this number on X, and then I'll talk. And I was like, yeah, okay.
I would block that person from
ick.
I can't. I literally
like total ick right there. Yeah.
Yeah, but so that was just anyway meant to be not a knock on this person, but more of a testament to Zuby. I'm really happy that I follow him and was able to chat with him in person. That was a lot of fun.
So since we're live, is there still an opening? Was there an opening, Ty?
I had one guy.
Okay, so just so everyone knows, before the end of this podcast, the 30 minutes, we got 26 minutes to get this spot taken up. So everyone jump in the chat. Anyone in the comment who wants to do this, reach out to Ty, and he'll reach out at Ty Romper, correct?
Yep.
He'll
give
you
the on Twitter that just says Zuby Retreat. I'll send you the info.
I'd love to do it. If I could scratch it together, I would. But Tyler, I have to at least invite you because you're gonna be in Vegas. Freedom Fest, July 8th to the 12th. If you're around at any time, we'll have to get together at some point. Yeah, it's in Vegas this year. So
of course, yeah.
It's right in the convention center, right there at
Bro, it'll only be like 118 degrees out in July. So
yeah, exactly. Well, it hit 121 one last year, 2 years ago when they shot at Trump. I guess that was what it was. So, so anyway, I just wanted to invite you to that because I unfortunately can't make this event. But guys, I was like turning over every sofa cushion, everything. I was looking through my 401k. I was looking at my third mortgage, everything I could possibly do just to make this happen for me. It'll get there. I know it'll grow there. It's to your point, Brent, you can't focus on that stuff. You just got to focus on doing this. And that's what this is all about. Just having great conversations.
You got it.
Thank you for sharing in that. So who has anything you guys want to share? Like next up, whatever you guys want to talk about.
I want to reframe something. So Ty is big on reframing, and I know that he's cautioned us about the political world and stuff. And I know, Mark, you and I swim in that world a little bit more than he does. I think this is a huge opportunity, right? Like I think we're seeing this. This is where I correct people all the time, and I see the feminist misogynists in the chat. Hey, what's up? I've been talking to a lot of people who keep saying like I'm getting blackpilled, right? When they mean essentially I'm giving up on this idea that government can actually work, right? Like this is looked as doomerism or some sort of, and I'm like, this is the biggest white pill ever, man. I think everyone knows I'm an anarchist. I'm a free market guy. I just want voluntary associations. I don't want any coercion and force and violence used. I'm like, hey guys, we can at least admit whatever this is, this experiment called America, that failed. That completely failed. I think I can tell you why it failed. I think it was predictable. Like if you give this group of people the right to murder people, it's just going to keep growing until we are where we're at. So we shouldn't be surprised where we are, but we can at least look at this in the positive light and say, hey, maybe we try something else now. Maybe being ruled by a group of satanic pedophiles that are, graping the children, like maybe we
allegedly, I can't lose any more followers. Yes. Jesus Christ, man, what are you going to do to me? Sorry, I said Jesus.
I said grape, sir.
I can't
graping like grape soda.
Yeah, grape PDF files, guys. Adobe PDF files.
But my point is, like, it's actually if you. Here's a way to look at it. Like, look at it from a health perspective. If you're doing something like sitting on the couch and eating your ice cream every day and you're gaining weight and you realize it's not working, it's not black pilled to say, maybe I should stop this, right? Yeah. Like that's actually, knowing what doesn't work is the most white pill ever. It's like, okay, cool. So that tells us what not to do. How about we start having a conversation?
That's how science works.
Exactly.
It's like literally disproving stuff constantly, to your point, right? Yeah. Go ahead.
But people are so attached to this idea, though, and I get it. We all went to the government schools, or a lot of us did, and you stood and you chanted to the flag and sang the songs, and got your feels all poked by propaganda, and like I get it. Like it's tough to let go of, but at some point we got to grow up. We got to be empirical. We got to look at the reality and say, like it or not, this isn't working. What's going to work? And so I'm kind of hopeful. I'm going to continue to try to maintain a balance of not losing my mind and not getting too, unhinged. The Epstein stuff really caused me to go there for a while. I think I've recovered. But saying like, okay, like we can do two things at once. We can point out things that are wrong and say like, nope, this is not right. This is not right. This is not right. And then also invite people in to be like, hey, maybe there's a different way. Let's have a conversation about it. So I've really been trying to reframe like that. And I think if more people did that and stop panicking about like, oh my gosh, all this stuff's going on and I didn't get what I voted for. And like, just like today, Trump came out and was like, I'm in favor of transing the kids. And everyone's just like, oh, you didn't hear about that?
Nah,
is he trying to get the Chase Oliver vote? Is that what
I don't know, but he was posting something about the SAVE Act and he was going down the list and he was like, I don't want to have, transitioning children to give them surgery without their parents' approval. And the whole world is like, wait, what? So anyways, the point is like, forget about the giant rug pulls. Yes, we got fooled. Yes, you got taken advantage of. Yes, politicians lie. Shocker. I don't know who doesn't realize that at this stage of their life. But yes, of course, this is what it is. Let's forget about it. Let's move on. Let's talk about doing something else. And I'm going to keep trying to push that forward as like, this is an opportunity rather than just death and destruction and chaos and
what do you
sadness.
think we actually do about it though? And that's because Congress is like 90% not approval rate. Like I think if you ask the average American citizen, they're like, yeah, we don't want to go to any more wars. Like 90-10 issue.
No.
We don't want to keep devaluing the dollar and spending trillions of dollars on other. We want to like fortify where we're at. We want to live good lives. We don't want to bother everyone all over the world all the time. We probably don't need 800 military bases. We don't need all these things, right?
Well, yeah, but we forgot what's written in the document is we are supposed to revolt. When it's become tyrannical, it's time for a reset.
Yeah, but we missed that window, Mark. You missed that window. Let's be honest.
How do we uncouple then? Do we just create building?
I've got the answer, man. I've got the answer. Nobody wants to hear it. The answer is
community. It's community, right?
The answer is spheres of influence, right? So you're not fixing DC. This is a nightmare shit show that's going to implode, and we all know it, right? And you can't change it. Obviously, voting doesn't work, everybody. They don't care what you say. They don't care what you think. They're going to do what they want to do. So the only option is to do like Tyler does and be like, I'm going to be debt free. right? I'm not going to be part of this banking cartel system. I'm going to, not that Tyler does all this, but you can divest yourself of the dollar, right? You can be into Bitcoin. You can be into Monero. You can transact in alternative currency, gold and silver, whatever, like be outside of the financial system. You can do that. You can buy a piece of land. You can build a self-sustaining homestead. Like you can just do things, right? And I think people don't want to do that because we care about consumerism.
Be the liberty you want to see in the world. It's very Gandhi-like.
You can do it. So if you do this, you have full control for the most part. Obviously, the government comes shoot you on your property, like Randy Weaver, whatever. Like we've seen what they can do, but ultimately, you're not that important in the grand scheme of things from their perspective. They're going to do what they're going to do, but you don't have to fund the wars. If you have a job where you're paying taxes and they're taking that money and they're going to go blow up people across the world, like, yeah, you're kind of complicit in that, right? Like you're contributing to that. And you don't have to, is what I'm saying to people. It's like you have the ability to completely segregate yourself. And like in Nashville here, you can go 10 miles outside of town and find 100 acres. Like there's land. Like you can build a self-sustaining, completely off-grid. And maybe it's not a mansion. You might have a cabin, but guess what? You're debt-free. You're not part of that system.
But it's yours.
It's yours, man. But people want the lifestyle, right? Like people want to finance these fancy cars to impress people. They don't even care anyway. I drive a piece of crap paid off car. I know Tyler does too. It's like there's freedom in that. It's like you're not paying the bank anything. Like I think people have more control over their lives if they would just take it. But that's what I think people don't want, is they don't want that responsibility. They want to, I think there's this thing. It's almost like Tyler talking about me and my fear of success or whatever, or people's fear of success is like, Congress is nice because we have a 9% approval rating, but there's somebody you can point at and say, you're the reason why my life is messed up. It's your fault. Yeah. And I think people like that. They want to hang on to that. They want to cling to it. And even if they're wrong, even egregiously wrong, they can at least say, but at least it's not me. At least it's not my fault, right?
While they also want to abdicate their responsibilities and accountability to the government more and more so that they can watch their children, watch your finances, tell you how to spend your money. It's like, okay, sure. It sounds great.
Correct.
I think you hit the nail on the head, man. It's like the Matrix again. We're all stuck in that system, or most people are. And I always say, like, because I believe we could stop this tomorrow if a bunch of prominent influencers came up and said, everyone's going to stop paying taxes. All government officials quit going to work. Until Congress leaves, until we fix this stuff, until you show us Epstein, until you get out of wars we don't want, until you quit, we quit. We stop and band together. But what's that take? You got to be free. You got to be sovereign. You got to have a little money. They're probably going to freeze your accounts and steal your assets. And you saw that.
And it takes the first person with the bystander effect.
They're probably going to kill you, right? Like there's going to be some people that
I mean, 100%. They got to make examples of us,
100%. But it is weird that there's probably 500 or 600 people controlling a country of 350 million, of which 125 million are armed. Mm-hmm. That's kind of weird when you really think about it. And I had this talk, and it reminds me of this, of like, man, I never understood slavery. I just couldn't. I don't know. I joked one time where I'm like, if I had been born 200 years ago, I would have just gone to my dad and been like, yo, like Terrence is my guy. Like he's free. We shoot hoops together. He's just a nice guy. Like I just have never understood how you don't want other human beings to also do well. That just has never, since I've been 4, just not resonated with me. If I want other people to do poorly so I can do better, I don't get that. But I kind of think like where was I going with that, man? I don't know where I was going with that.
Well, we're trying to talk about strategies for change, right? That's like what can we do? And I think
that's the point is, so there's, and I always thought, okay, man, on a plantation, there's like 8, 12, 20, maybe white guys with guns. And there's 1,000 of you or 3,000 of you, like maybe 10 of you die, but bro, you could overthrow them real easy. And I mean, man, I don't want to get too anarchist, but I'm shocked this stuff doesn't happen a little bit more. But I think they're so good at it. And this is what I told my wife last night. I think that right and left, the uniparty that it is so good at marketing. They're so good at dividing us. You will never convince me that anyone at all cares about Bad Bunny playing in a Super Bowl, but everybody talked about it for a week. It's right versus left. This one was better. This one was, and then it's like, then the next thing, and then the next thing. And they just keep feeding you this down your throats constantly so that you're fighting with each other. Also, let's just call it what it is. Brent said it. Our lives are just a little too good. Everybody lives
and it's biological too, guys. You do not want to be the nail sticking out. when your survival's at stake.
That's like,
And
why did
that
William
thing is
Wallace
buried so
Wallace-
deep in our little primal brain about
That's right.
about fitting in versus sticking out that you just go along because to get along. I mean, it's just how we are.
Yeah. I don't know if you know, but our brains have circuitry that measures where you sit in the hierarchy, right? And a lot of that status is determined by material wealth, and abundance, and nobody wants to take that lifestyle downgrade, man. It's hard. Like, people want the flashy thing. They want to appear to their neighbors and friends like they're killing it, and they'll go into debt and make themselves in a worse situation to have that appearance. It's a terrible thing. So I agree with all of that, man. Here's another thing. I'm going to be controversial. I'm sorry, Tyler. I don't want to drag you into this, but I'm going to go.
Well, we're doing a debate like Smarter and Politician. We're going to have a debate.
Not a debate.
It's a yes and, dude. It's a yes and for sure.
I'm offering a potential solution, and nobody's wanted to hear this lately. So my contention is that it is time to socially ostracize the troops. Like nobody wants to do this. So we've got, and this is something that's crazy, is the entire country knows that they've just deployed the United States military to attack Iran on behalf of Israel and because of Epstein, right? This is a distraction from the Epstein situation. There are people that are going over to murder other human beings, knowing that that's the case. And when they get back, we're going to say, thank you for your service. You're going to pat them on the back and be like, you're doing a good job. There's no military person that's been in for the last 20 years, at least, that doesn't know what the deal is. That the United States has continually been fighting aggressive wars, attacking other countries. There's literally 1 million dead Iraqis, based off of the Bush administration era and then Obama administration. Like, they've continued on these wars forever. We did 20 years in Afghanistan to replace the Taliban with the Taliban. Like, we know what the deal is. This is not defensive. It hasn't been defensive for a very long time. And people that are in right now, if you're serving, and by the way, I'm a veteran, so I got the card to say this, but if you're in, you know what the deal is. You keep re-enlisting, you keep joining up, or you joined up knowing that that's what the deal was, and then you were basically hired hitmen for pedophiles in DC. Like, that is a fact. That should not be an honorable profession. Murdering people is not honorable. This is not defensive. This is offensive, and this is awful. And to Tyler's point, we should be able to overrun the plantation, but guess why we can't? Because the founders put a prohibition against a permanent military in the Constitution. They banned it. And we just ignore it. And then we have this giant military force that they are the people that you'd be fighting against. If we want push came to shove, like,
I honestly think if push came to shove, though, I honestly believe this in my heart, that if there was a bunch of prominent people and they said, look what's going on and look what you're doing and they laid out a lot of these, I think a lot of the military would be like, I'm with you. We need to reset. I lost my buddy over here for what? I mean, you saw the guy yesterday. It went viral. The guy yelling, I'm not dying for Israel. I'm not dying. I don't know a lot about this, to be very honest. So I won't speak out of turn here, but I think you're seeing a lot of people wake up. You're seeing a lot of like generational military families even say, I don't want my sons going in. And I mean, I have a hard time saying that's that, because it's, I grew up loving G.I. Joe, man. And that was,
I was G.I. Joe, dude. You wouldn't believe, you just saw me when I was in the military. I was so gung-ho. I wanted to do all the things. I was Captain America, man.
You're right. When was the last time, like, truly defensive?
Oh, sorry, good.
Like the 1800s?
I mean, you could argue World War II, right? Like
Wait, what was your question, Tyler?
When was the last time our military was like truly defensive and not just the ones going out to take,
Oh, it would be definitely before World War I. The creation of the Fed allowed the funding apparatus for the Great War to start. Let's not kid ourselves. The assassination of a guy, get the fuck out of here. It's silly. I mean, this isn't white pill stuff. This is just reality. Like that whole funding apparatus, America, everyone looked to America because of our prosperity. Why did they need equipment? Because they've been fucking fighting each other to grinding halts for years while we sat on the sidelines. Oh, I'm sorry. Sat on the sideline. No, cared about America and decided to make something of each of our lives and keep it's like, it's such a bullshit trope that like America did World War. No, we got sucked in by the banks and it's like so silly. And every war since, it's only been profitable and not prosperous. And it's still, and they get on both sides because they get it on the war side. And then they get it on the Reconstruction side.
Yeah. Like, all wars are bankers' wars, man. All wars are bankers' wars.
It's like, how do we keep allowing that? Because there's just a group of 1,000 people or less that keep getting insanely wealthy off of it. And then also, like, my follow-up to that is, like, how do these, like, when is enough enough? Like, dude, you're like, you've got $8 billion and you're like, oh, I need 10, you know, like it only cost 4 million lives. Like, let's just go do it. Like, how do you sleep at night when you actually think about what you're doing? Or do you just lie to yourself and reframe? And like,
that's a question I'd like that. That's a question I'd like that. Sorry, Mark. That's a question I really want to ask Elon Musk right now. He's on track to be a trillionaire. And he, who was very vocal about the Ukraine war, hasn't said a peep lately, and he's cashing in all these DoD checks, man. Like, he's funding the Starlink.
Off the charts with their communications right now.
Grok AI is being used by the Department of Defense. All of his technologies are being used to fund the war, and he has shut up completely, man. And it's like
government contracts. The contracts are there, and I mean, it's so funny. You went from, oh, they're holding it back because Trump's in the Epstein files. Duh. And then to now, like, literally fucking crickets. It's like, okay, man, come on. And that's the thing is, like, can we, if we're just real, like, we see movies like Snowpiercer and these are like a time, what's the Time one with Justin Timberlake where like time was like merits, and like you see like Hunger Games. It's like these districts. DC is like, to your point, Tyler, for some reason we have this illusion that DC's untouchable. I mean, people literally held signs and went to jail just to say, hey, we don't like it. Left their guns at home, by the way. The gun nuts left their guns at home just to say we don't like this, and look at how they reacted. Like, well, I mean, clearly, to your point, it's so fragile on a pin's knee. It is on a razor's edge. And that's the scary part, is because collapse is way worse than like unwinding in some way, for sure.
Yeah, I think the last guy to really oppose war, in my mind, I don't know about you guys, was JFK, and they just openly killed him, right? And then I think I truly think, and I may be way wrong here, I'd love to know what you guys think, but I think honestly many years ago Trump was like that. And then they shot him, they threatened him, they held things over him, and they said, you're going to do this. But I truly think he was very anti-war and actually probably doesn't want to be doing a lot of things we're doing now, or maybe not. I don't know. That could be false. But I feel like, you know, they basically, LBJ helped set up it was all kind of designed, right? You can't stop the war machine. And I think they kind of got Trump in a room or shot him in the ear or whatever they needed to do and said, like, no, you're either going to play ball or you're not going to be here, right? And that's why, I liked Obama, to be honest, his first term when he came in, hope and change, right? Like, this is great. No, he preached all the right things. And so I voted for him and I liked it. And then I noticed we're carpet bombing everyone. This is the exact opposite of everything he ran on. What is going on? And then I saw an interview with Vladimir Putin, maybe 5-6 years ago, where he says he started laughing. Presidents have no power. He goes, they run and they say whatever they need to say to get elected. Mm-hmm. He goes, I've sat through 5 or 6 presidents. Men in suits approach them and tell them what to do. And that's how it goes. And I think those men in suits are the bankers, the people that run the world, right? The Fed, whatever.
Remember, Obama's entire cabinet was sent via email from, was it Chase or
That's right. One of the big banks.
His entire cabinet's like, hey, these are your 13 to 15 or whatever it was at the time. Yeah. I mean, it's silly to not see that. You know what I mean?
But it's, again, I think you can go black pill on it and say, what can you do? But I don't want to go there. I'm with you, Brent. And I like that, to say more people need to break free, man. More people need to get not reliant on the system. How do you do that? You stop buying stuff, man. You stop buying stuff you don't need. You guys come into my house, bro. I've been doing content for 8 years, and this is my backdrop. I got that given to me, and my daughter made that. We made our kitchen table. We got a couch off Facebook Marketplace for $200. We don't have stuff. I have financial freedom. I don't have stuff. And I think if more people sort of unplugged from that matrix, that would be a very, very helpful thing. And then also, I don't know. I don't know where it's going to go. But I think there's going to come a point, man, sometime in the U.S. where there's either a really scary collapse or there's a real January 6th or whatever that date was, where people there's like, I've had enough. Like, you can only squeeze me for so much, like the pharaohs of the ancient days taxed their slaves at 20%. We're taxed at 50. There's going to come a point where it's just like people are like, no, my quality of life isn't great and I need to do something about it. My children don't even have a chance, or my children's children. Like, I don't know. It's going to be a crazy next decade, I believe, man. But I do
bartering, alternative currencies. There's so many ways we can work around. To your point, Tyler, I know somebody would love something that I'd be willing to give up right now, and somebody's giving up something, I'd be like, oh wow, that really interests me.
Right.
You know, open your eyes. How many people drive up and down the streets picking up stuff on the side of roads and monetizing that and making complete livings out? You know, it's an amazing thing. So we got like 5 minutes before the hour, guys. I'm very sensitive to your time. I'm so grateful. Each of you gentlemen have anything closing you guys want to share before we call it the hour? And thank you everyone to joining us for the Therapy Thursday that we had. It's been great.
I'd say I'll end on this tone, man. Let's all do this together real quick. Find a comfortable spot. And I want you to take about 4 or 5 deep breaths from your belly. Start to slow your breath down a little bit. Start to move to that frontal lobe where you realize, man, I'm here. I'm fully conscious. No one's in charge of my future except me. And the choices that I make will determine my future. And so that can be as easy as going for a little walk right after this. As deciding I'm going to reframe my day and I'm going to have a great day. I'm going to hydrate. I'm going to eat good food. I'm going to hit a few wins that are important to me. And then, you know, we can't fix all the world's problems, but I will say, yeah, I think we can better ourselves, better those people around us. That's probably the best way to start, right? So that's my message to the people. Slow it down a little bit. Life moves too fast.
Yeah, it's funny. You talk about like sports and athletes, like the 10,000 hour thing with Malcolm Gladwell or whatever, when everything kind of slows down to you so you can actually grab it, work with it, and then manage it, right? Brent, anything else before we call it a day? Please share your stuff, your socials as well. Your podcast, Aiming Up, brilliant, absolutely brilliant, man. You have the greatest guys. We're on Adam Heyman. You had a back and forth on each other's podcasts. It's brilliant, man. Please share some of that before we call it. Like I said, it's awesome.
Yeah, and also my one of the most recent episodes of Pastor Johnny, man, Tyler. Thank you for sending him over to my show. That was a great episode. I can't wait to finish round 2 with that dude. But I want to leave everybody with this, especially if you follow my content. If you're on X. Obviously, it's a different thing than my podcast. Like I'm a very reasonable human being. If you look at my X, you might think I'm a little bit unhinged. And I want to let everyone know, when I post stuff, I poke. I like to sort of point out things that I think are evil and that need to be fixed in society. But I'm not that serious. Like, I mean, sometimes with the Epstein stuff, I crash out and I'll tell you when I'm crashing out. But most of the time, I'm just like planting little seeds. And I might retweet myself from 2 years ago. Say, hey, remember this thing? Yeah, I saw that coming. Pay attention to that. I'm trying to guide people and to show them what's going on. And sometimes, like, even Jesus flipped the tables, man. Like he took his time and fashioned a whip and started kicking people's ass. And you know, sometimes there's times to sort of say, this isn't right and this is unjust, right? But also don't lose your mind about it. Like, focus on, be like, hey, what can I control? There's a lot more than you think, regardless what the crazy people in DC are doing. So you can do both, right? We can both say, call out the evil, but also focus on the good, build something positive for you and your family and your community, and sort of radiate outward, as opposed to starting at DC and then worrying about what's messed up there. You're not fixing it. So that's just my call to everybody.
Amen. Amen.
All right. So before we call
you, brother.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Tyler.
I just want to say thanks for having us on, man. I really appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
It's always fun chatting.
Absolutely. Yeah, not bad for a first little run here. So we plan to do this one Thursday, so we'll figure one out in April, and we'll get back to everybody. But everyone, thank you so much. And the note I'd like to do, kind of to your point, Brent, you were talking about, is just touch grass, everybody. Prepare yourself. This is the thing. Compare yourself to yourself.
Yeah.
Yesterday. That's it. If you're I know, like, we had Suzanne Sherman on, who left her lawyer job to like literally homestead in the mountains, and she had a house fire that literally took her house down twice. It's unbelievable, the stories, but it's like these people, it's like just got to connect that way. You know what I mean? Step back from it.
Touch grass, man. Get connected to the real world. That's to me, for me, as much as anybody else, man.
Amen.
And I am definitely more prepared today than I was a couple days ago or last week for what we think might be upcoming. We just have to be prepared and keep these conversations alive.
Let's do it.
With that, Everyone, thank you so much for joining us. We've got feminist, misogynist in here. We've got William. We've got Rob Yates. We've got a bunch of people. Who else is in here? So thank you again, guys. Been another Not Conscious, but this is the Therapy Thursday. We plan to do this once a month. Tyler, thank you. Brent, we're definitely going to talk again, of course.
Yes, sir.
We'll
Love
talk
you guys.
more Crazy Conscious. But thanks so much, guys. Take care, everybody. Have a great day.